It was 22 years ago at 9 a.m., round about that time, New York City and Washington, D.C., where we saw something horrible in front of our very own eyes. And I think most people around the world would actually remember where they were. I was in Bangkok. I was actually in a coffee shop in a supermarket, and I was very close to the TV section of that supermarket and thought it was a movie, then realized it wasn't. This video is just maybe like a rant and a rave of how the world is today. But for all the people, whatever happened on that situation, whatever you believe, loss of human life is something awful. In this video, there's no pictures, there's no video images, it's just going to be me. So if you don't want to, then turn it off right now. But, excuse me, if you do, this is just my opinion. Everyone has an opinion. You may agree, you may disagree, but it's a debate, it's a conversation. So what happened after this date is that Afghanistan happened. Afghanistan happened for the person who inflicted the pain, the organizer, the mastermind, bin Laden, related to this situation. And some people disagree. Some Muppets, some clowns, some conspiracy theorists. These are the people who would be pro-Russia, pro-North Korea, pro-China, related to communism, for example. They would actually say America's bad and the Taliban is good. Kim Jong-un, the leader of North Korea, is good and America is bad. They will always diss the United States of America. In that respect, some things in America I agree with, some things I don't agree with. For example, weapons, guns, gun laws, etc. But that's just another cup of tea, and maybe I come from the UK with that in mind. So America went to Afghanistan and eventually they caught their man in Pakistan, neighboring Afghanistan. Then we had the situation in Iraq, led by an evil dictator whose human rights record was awful. He got taken out as well. The leader of Libya, Colonel Gaddafi. Now, I have actually been to Libya on a cruise ship, and the city of Tripoli, I was really amazed that it was such a great city and no one in the bazaar or the market disturbed you or trying to hassle you to buy goods. And the person who was leading the tour told us how cheap gasoline was. But he was the person who took out the Pan Am aeroplane way back in 1989, 1988, over Lockerbie, Scotland in the United Kingdom. He got taken out. The list goes on. And this is America, you would say, dominating the world, but it is the country of the free. And they, I would say, in theory, are trying to help people related to make the world a better place. Now, some of you may agree, some of you may disagree. Which presidents of America do I like? Which presidents do I dislike? The corruption. This happens all over the world. To be honest, I actually like Donald Trump. I don't really like Joe Biden. But again, that's my opinion. And you have the right as a free person to agree or disagree. But in China, for example, you don't have that right. You can't really talk about the leader, Xi Jinping, or the political party because it's against the law and it may end you in a barrel of trouble. So you just keep quiet about it. This is why I love democracy. This is why I love freedom. You go to certain countries and you are a foreigner. You have to respect. If I went to China, for example, to visit some friends, and if I knew these friends weren't open-minded, I wouldn't talk about politics at all. I would say things about England or Thailand or America or some of my travels that I've been to. YouTube is actually fantastic because you can get different points of view from different people, and some are really intelligent. But you know, sometimes when they tell a porcupine or a little bit of a lie, because they tell so many lies, you can backtrack them against them. There was one guy, for example, who lives in New York called Danny Haifong. He's an American, but I guess with his last name of Haifong, his family originated from Vietnam, because Haiphong is really close to Hanoi in the north part of Vietnam. Related to that, he said that America invaded South Korea. America did help South Vietnam with communism. They didn't succeed, unfortunately, but that's just how it happened. Agree or disagree? I do respect and thank you for your service, for all the veterans around the world, whether you're a policeman, whether you're a fireman, whether you're special forces or a Marine or in the Navy or in the Royal Air Force in the UK. Thank you for protecting the world for peace. What's happening in the Ukraine? Well, I do actually support the Ukraine. I support Ukraine and I don't support Russia. Now, maybe I'm influenced in the Western world and Western media from BBC and Al Jazeera and CNN and Fox News, for example. But in that way, it feels like all the other negative and people who do support Russia would be... Russia is a big country, and you would feel that Russia is Goliath and Ukraine is David. But you can watch different programs on YouTube and see the different points of view. And it's up to you as an individual to make up your own opinion. I do remember the old days of news where it was very objective. The newscasters from BBC and CNN would go to a situation, they would report it objectively. Of course, if there's someone who died or many people were injured, that is the subjective part. That's human nature. But nowadays, it seems to be one news station would be this way and the other news station would be that way. But I'm sure you remember the old days. For most of my viewers who are like my age plus would remember the old days of everything being objective. And you would say sometimes better. I sound like the good old days or back in the old day, and the modern situation today is awful. Where, in matter of fact, modern is actually really good. We have better communication. I can broadcast this video on my YouTube channel. You can watch it, you can agree, you can disagree, you can like me, you can hate me. It's your opinion, and you can comment below. Much better than the old days where it was a newspaper, it would be objective, and it'd be really difficult to put your opinion to the people who are making the news like that. So on this day, September the 11th, 2023, we do remember the people who sacrificed their lives or lost their lives because of some of the evil empires. There I am being subjective. Some people would disagree with the whole situation there. And my hearts go out to the families who every year have to go through the suffering of a loss of a loved one. My heart truly goes out to you. I hope in the future, with all these summits like the G20, the G8, all these meetings around the world with different leaders, we can all come together as one. It's an impossible dream, but it would be so much nicer that China got on with America, Russia got on. There was very little war. They would talk before any action was taken, saving us a lot of money and taxpayers' money for military equipment, etc. Agree or disagree? Again, that's up to you. Will it happen? I doubt it very much in our lifetime, and we actually have to protect ourselves. You can't rely on any government nowadays. I have my own, you could say, pension, which I made when I retired at 44 years old. I don't have anything from the British government. I don't actually know when I get to retirement age in the UK, will the British government give me anything? I have a Swedish friend who lives in South Korea with his wife for years and years. When he reaches 60 or 65, He hasn't paid any Swedish tax before because he's never lived in Sweden when he's been working, so no need. But the government will still give him a minimum of 2,000 American dollars per month as a pension. It's the same in Norway. I don't know what actually happens in the UK, but only time will tell. If I reach the young tender age of retirement age in the United Kingdom of, what is it? I don't know, 65 or 67 for gentlemen. I think I rambled on too much about the politics of the world, but the main idea is just to remember what happened 22 years ago in New York City, round about 9 a.m. New York time. If I'm wrong with the time, I apologize. My name is James. This is the James N. Cooper Show. If you do like it, please give it a thumbs up. If you think I'm actually talking a whole load of BS, give it a thumbs down. But please do subscribe. Please do check your subscription. Many thanks to all the people who donate money through Super Chat or becoming a member or through Patreon. All the links are in the description below. Any monies that do come in, it goes to my kitty cats. Actually, one of my kitty cats is not very well. He had a fight about 2 months ago. He'd just been back to the vet because this is sort of like leaking pus out. So any kind of donations are really appreciated. Nothing goes into my back pocket. It all goes to my pussycats because as many of you know, raising a pet is not a cheap thing to do. And I don't know the cost in other countries, but cat food here really costs an arm and a leg. God bless to everyone. Do spend a moment of time, relate to whatever your religion, if you believe or not, to the people who unfortunately lost their lives on September 11th, 2001. Thank you very much for your time. Bye-bye.